How could other fans not feel the impact? The Lakers are pushed toward a trade that seems heavily uneven, and meanwhile, they may acquire Kawhi Leonard without cost after previously missing out on him. If I were a fan of another team, I would be reeling in disbelief. Reports indicate that the Lakers are poised to invest $100 million in Leonard, especially since his Clippers deal is jeopardized by the $28 million fraud controversy. 6 years after letting him slip away, the Lakers could snatch their star player at last. But will this major acquisition ignite a full-blown NBA conflict? The Lakers' golden chance is unfolding. The Los Angeles Lakers are quietly orchestrating the boldest free agency maneuver in NBA history, aiming for a staggering $100 million deal for Kawhi Leonard, a move that could entirely transform the Western Conference landscape. However, this isn't merely a typical chase for a superstar. The Lakers are strategically placing themselves as the top contenders in what could emerge as the most significant salary cap scandal in league history, with shocking claims that might lead to Leonard having his entire Clippers contract annulled, propelling him into free agency in an unprecedented spectacle. Here's the jaw-dropping twist. In 2019, during Leonard's time as a free agent, his uncle Dennis Robertson put forth exorbitant demands to various teams, such as seeking a share in team ownership, access to private jets, and assured endorsement deals that fell outside the NBA's collective bargaining agreement. Lakers owner Jeannie Buss outright rejected these illicit proposals, calling Leonard's camp insane and pointing out the violations of the CBA. In contrast, the Clippers seemingly devised inventive methods to fulfill Leonard's requests. The irony in this situation is truly remarkable. The Lakers, who stood firm on compliance in 2019, may now find themselves in a favorable position due to the Clippers' alleged infractions. Should Leonard's contract be annulled as a result of this controversy, he could land precisely where he was intended to go had his representatives not set those unreasonable stipulations 6 years back. It's a classic case of karma coming around. Current intel hints that if Leonard hits the open market, he has no desire to leave Los Angeles, making the Lakers the frontrunners. Sources within the team reveal they've been discreetly monitoring developments for months, crafting backup plans to potentially extend a competitive offer to Leonard without breaching any regulations. Got it. Let's discuss what might unfold in this scenario. Should the Lakers consider pursuing Kawhi Leonard? If the NBA uncovers any misconduct, they could nullify his contract. Why wouldn't he remain a Clipper? He's barred from re-signing with that franchise, and there's still some financial obligation tied to the Clippers' balance sheet. The intricacies of the financial aspects surrounding this possible transition are intriguing. The Lakers must create additional salary cap room, possibly necessitating trades of players such as Gabe Vincent or making other roster adjustments. However, the twist is that Leonard's contract might be nullified rather than exchanged. As a result, the Lakers wouldn't have to part with valuable assets. This scenario stands in stark contrast to the usual superstar signings, where teams typically lose several players and future draft picks. The fit with basketball is truly captivating. Leonard's top-tier two-way skills, merging superb defense with effective scoring, would mesh seamlessly with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. His proficiency in guarding various positions and generating his own offense meets several of the Lakers' pressing needs and could propel them into serious title contention. However, the strategic angle adds another layer of intrigue. Should Leonard's market value have taken a hit from this controversy, the Lakers might secure him for far less than what his earlier contract warranted. We're discussing the chance to bring in a past Finals MVP at a considerable bargain because of his legal issues and damaged image. Certainly, to start, I definitely don't want his entourage involved with the team. So, no Uncle Dennis. I mean, the distractions surrounding Kawhi are enough. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. While I'm inclined to agree, my true response leans toward the no. I'm taking the role of devil's advocate here. Trevor, the potential public relations backlash for the Lakers in signing Kawhi is significant. The internal discussions among Lakers insiders are both intricate and intense. Despite Leonard's undeniable skill set, a two-time champion and Finals MVP with stellar accolades, his connection to this controversy and ongoing availability concerns undeniably raise doubts about whether the pursuit is worth the possible risks involved. Nonetheless, strong reasons exist that make it essential for the Lakers to seize this chance. To begin with, the economic conditions could prove to be highly advantageous. If Leonard is confronted with legal repercussions due to his participation in the fraudulent scheme and his image has significantly diminished, he may be inclined to accept a contract well below his usual worth to gain a new beginning with a respected team. Furthermore, the strategic gain would be massive. When Leonard is fit and focused, he has the potential to drastically alter the course of a franchise. His championship journey with Toronto in 2019, particularly highlighted by that unforgettable Game 7 buzzer beater against Philadelphia, showcases his knack for excelling under pressure. Infusing this type of playoff savvy and clutch performance into a Lakers lineup that already features LeBron and AD could foster something extraordinary. Additionally, the psychological implications of signing Leonard would strike a significant blow to the Clippers franchise. Not only would they see their key player depart due to their own mismanagement, but they would also witness him ally with their crosstown foes. Such a scenario would mark one of the most dramatic shifts in fortune in recent NBA history. The salary cap status of the Lakers positions this scenario as feasible. With a few calculated adjustments, they might generate the required room to present a compelling offer to Leonard, particularly if his expected price has dropped due to his uncertain situation. I acknowledge that I'd consider it, and it was enjoyable to play devil's advocate, but honestly, my true response is no. The significant part is no. I truly mean if he were on the market at a veteran's minimum, then yes. However, if it's a superior individual, indeed. But overall, from fans' perspective, what I'm enjoying is how the Lakers have reached a point where they're no longer the most tumultuous team in their division. I even mentioned this on X today. The focus on organizational stability is key to grasping the Lakers' strategy. The franchise has put in considerable effort to foster a more stable and drama-free atmosphere. Still, there are valid worries that bringing in Leonard, particularly considering his ongoing legal issues and his relationship with Uncle Dennis Robertson, might hinder that advancement. However, let's examine the other possibilities. Should Leonard choose to join another Western Conference rival, such as Denver, Phoenix, or Golden State, it might greatly impact the Lakers' chances of winning a championship. Even if he stays with a less formidable Clippers team, he still poses a danger within the same division. From a competition perspective, the Lakers are nearly obligated to seize this chance if it arises. The timing is also exceptionally favorable for them. LeBron James continues to excel remarkably despite his advancing years. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis is at the peak of his abilities, and incorporating Leonard into this mix could open a championship opportunity, optimizing the final chapters of LeBron's journey while securing the franchise's future success. Additionally, the element of historical redemption adds layers to this narrative. The Lakers' firm decision in 2019, which led to them missing out on Leonard, would now be justified. They held on to their principles and are now poised to reap the rewards from their competitors' ethical lapses. It feels like poetic retribution. The larger ramifications for the Western Conference are immense. A Lakers lineup featuring LeBron, AD, and Kawhi would immediately establish them as championship frontrunners. This scenario might ignite a competitive frenzy, causing other teams to make significant trades in an effort to remain competitive. Recently, the Lakers management, under Rob Pelinka, has exhibited a careful and strategic approach instead of frantic actions. They have bided their time for the perfect moment. This Leonard scenario might just be the precise chance they've been seeking to bring in a star player while safeguarding their future and maintaining their principles. It's challenging, no doubt. The Lakers, for instance, reportedly have a second-round pick from 2032 that could be tossed in as part of a trade. Absolutely. Much like cash considerations. Indeed, comparable to a second-round swap. This is exactly what I mean. How about a debut? A debut round. What if it requires the top pick? Not available. Oh dear, this is exactly my point. I'm not willing to sacrifice anything of worth for Kawhi. The asset management part is vital in a typical trading situation. Bringing in Leonard would mean relinquishing substantial value, probably several players and draft picks. However, if his contract is nullified and he enters free agency, the Lakers might sign him without needing to part with any assets other than their salary cap space. This showcases exceptional worth for an athlete of Leonard's skill level. Naturally, there are dangers involved. Leonard's participation has been a persistent issue over his career. He has been sidelined for substantial periods because of injuries and load management, missing entire seasons with a Lakers squad aiming to capitalize on LeBron's dwindling prime years. Acquiring a player with such an unreliable availability history could pose risks. However, the possible benefits significantly eclipse the risks, particularly if the financial conditions are advantageous, even if Leonard takes the court for just 60 or 65 games during the regular season. His influence during the postseason could redefine the franchise. His performances, when fit, have been nothing short of legendary. This is precisely what the Lakers require to break through for a championship. They're strategically positioned to observe the unfolding situation. As the NBA probe progresses and Leonard's status unfolds, they can modify their approach as needed. Should a chance arise, they are ready to act. If it doesn't work out, they won't have diminished their existing plans or future options. This exemplifies astute franchise management, where one positions themselves to take advantage of chances while upholding their values and long-term goals. The Lakers took lessons from their 2019 encounter with Leonard and are now strategically situated to leverage that insight. A scandal is brewing that could transform everything while the Lakers craft their grand strategy. This turmoil, with fresh bombshells surfacing every day, could open doors. The claims against Kawhi Leonard and Clippers owner Steve Ballmer suggest a complex scheme to violate salary cap rules in NBA history, featuring fraudulent entities and millions at stake, prompting the NBA to engage one of the top law firms in the nation for an inquiry, as uncovered by investigative journalist Pablo Torres. Leonard's $28 million endorsement with a firm called Aspiration required him to undertake no obligations at all. No promotional efforts, no social media activity, no public engagements, absolutely nothing. Have you ever witnessed Kawhi Leonard promoting or endorsing any aspirations? Not even once. The highest payment ever made to a single individual for marketing that vision has totally escaped media attention. It's genuinely remarkable. 0. The anonymous testimony from the aspiration employees is incredibly incriminating. $28 million spent on essentially nothing. Yet the plot thickens. Just weeks prior to Leonard's agreement, Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, poured $50 million into this very company. The timing is so clear, so overt that it borders on an affront to one's intellect. This pertains to the Kawhi sign's extension from 2021, yet it intertwined with the real narrative I find myself in regarding Harvard alumni and Democratic officials starting what emerges as a $2.3 billion value-driven initiative focused on climate change and planetary preservation, attracting a slew of endorsers. Robert Downey Jr., Drake, the activist DiCaprio, Cindy Crawford, and Orlando Bloom are just a few names on the growing list. Pablo Torre's probe uncovers the true complexity of this suspected plot. Aspiration was far from a temporary venture. It was a strategically linked firm featuring notable backers, including big-name stars. What's more intriguing is that Leonard's contract supposedly outweighed the total worth of all other celebrity endorsements the company had secured by over 4 times. Consider this for a moment. A firm partnered with global icons like Robert Downey Jr., Drake, and Leonardo DiCaprio, true megastars with extensive social media influence and undeniable marketing clout. Paid Kawhi Leonard, who seldom speaks in public and has almost no online presence, more than each of them together. And why? For nothing at all. Truly, for absolutely nothing. However, it doesn't stop there. Aspiration, the firm embroiled in this controversy, has now declared bankruptcy. Additionally, co-founder Joe Sandberg has admitted guilt to charges of wire fraud exceeding $248 million. This situation transcends basketball. It's a case of extensive, organized fraud. The records acquired by Torre reveal Leonard's authentic signature on a contract featuring terms that permitted him to opt out of any action desired by Aspiration, all while receiving full compensation. In essence, it was crafted as a no-show role from the outset. Even more incriminating, the agreement allegedly contained a stipulation that would nullify the contract if Leonard departed the Clippers, thus providing a clear financial motive for him to stay with the franchise. This exemplifies typical circumvention of salary cap rules, employing external payments to sway a player's team selection without impacting the cap. Notably, it's Kawhi Leonard, his signature right alongside Andre Cherney, who, by the way, holds the title of the youngest speechwriter in White House history under Bill Clinton and is also a co-founder of Aspiration. Within the terms of that agreement, there are escape clauses that our friend David Sampson examined closely, revealing that Kawhi was in no way required to take any action. Steve Ballmer's reaction to these claims has been both rapid and questionable. During a meticulously planned conversation with ESPN, Ballmer professed total unawareness of the specifics surrounding Leonard's contract, even though he is the main stakeholder in the entity that compensated him. I can't say why they chose their course of action, nor can I gauge how it varies. Honestly, I genuinely cannot. Honestly, any conjecture would be absurd. These were individuals who perpetrated deceit. How could I even face them? They approach me. Detractors are already tearing apart Ballmer's claim that he was duped. Mark Cuban, a former NBA franchise owner himself, has openly expressed his astonishment at how someone as astute as Ballmer could be entirely oblivious regarding a transaction tied to his own investment in star athlete. It's challenging to envision a person of such immense financial acumen, worth billions, sitting back and admitting to being misled. That's tough to accept, as one doesn't achieve that level of success by being easily fooled. Therefore, it's clear he must grasp that this situation is undoubtedly hard for many to wrap their heads around. The trust deficit is vast. Ballmer didn't amass a fortune exceeding $100 billion by being gullible about business transactions, particularly those related to his investments and staff. The notion that he was unaware of a $28 million payout to a star athlete from a company he backed is pushing the limits of credulity. The sequence of occurrences renders Ballmer's claims even more questionable. In September 2021, the Clippers unveiled an enormous sponsorship agreement worth over $300 million with Aspiration, which included naming rights for their new arena as part of the deal. Only weeks following that declaration, Leonard's individual agreement with Aspiration was completed. This wasn't just a minor investment on the side. It was anticipated to be one of the largest sponsorship agreements in NBA history. The notion that Ballmer would be entirely oblivious to how his funds were being allocated, particularly concerning his star player, is hardly believable. On the court, this player is undeniably a true superstar. This brother boasts 2 championship titles and has been named NBA Finals MVP twice. Clearly he's a stellar player who thrives under pressure and radiates in the spotlight. I'm not disputing his prowess on the court. However, I mentioned repeatedly that he ranks as the least impressive superstar I've ever witnessed in sports. The term superstar takes on a whole new significance in this context. Stephen A. Smith's harsh critique is not limited to the latest controversy. It reflects a recurring issue. We're looking at a player adept at enhancing his paycheck while dodging obligations and participation. Leonard has been sidelined for over 200 games during his stint with the Clippers, frequently attributing his absences to load management and assorted injuries. This guy is set to take advantage of the absentee ballot as often as he can during his tenure. Upon reading the report that mentioned earning cash for no effort, I paused and thought, interesting. This has me reflecting on Steve Ballmer, associated with the Clippers. He's found a way to secure income without lifting a finger, showcasing his talent for such things. Furthermore, the investigation has uncovered possible links to Leonard's uncle, Dennis Robertson, a contentious character who was pivotal in the 2019 free agency controversy. Robertson's history of imposing extreme expectations on Leonard, including demands for team ownership and private jets, indicates a trend of testing the limits of NBA regulations. The NBA's inquiry is progressing swiftly, with officials reportedly interviewing former employees and scrutinizing extensive documentation. The league has engaged Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz, the same law firm that dealt with the Donald Sterling case, highlighting the gravity with which they regard these allegations. Potential repercussions are significant, with fines reaching up to $7.5 million for teams, forfeiture of draft picks, and possible contract votes. The last notable salary cap violation involved the Minnesota Timberwolves and Joe Smith in 2000, leading to the forfeiture of 5 first-round picks and substantial fines. However, this situation could have even harsher consequences. The Timberwolf issue revolved around a fairly straightforward covert arrangement. This ambitious plan included various firms, massive fraud totaling hundreds of millions, and a degree of complexity indicating thorough strategizing and teamwork. NBA athletes are starting to comment on the controversy. Indiana Pacer star Tyrese Halliburton humorously expressed a desire for his own no-show role during a college football game broadcast. The player's willingness to openly make fun of the matter reflects the gravity with which the basketball community views these claims. The bankruptcy declaration of aspirations discloses that Leonard is still owed $7 million from this arrangement, indicating he secured $21 million prior to the company's downfall. This results in a convoluted legal predicament where Leonard could face demands to return funds received from what federal authorities now classify as a fraudulent operation. The investigation's reach has broadened, with inquiries now encompassing whether other individuals or teams might have engaged in analogous schemes. Should this be uncovered as part of a wider trend of evasion, the repercussions could be substantially more serious. As this investigation progresses, it is becoming ever more apparent. This situation transcends any single athlete or franchise. It touches upon the core integrity of the NBA's salary cap framework and the potential for teams to engage in inventive tactics to bypass regulations meant to ensure fair competition. The resolution of this matter will probably establish guidelines that influence the league's functioning well into the future. The cascading consequences and what may follow. As the NBA probe enters a pivotal stage and the complete extent of this controversy unfolds, the reverberations are already altering the entire structure of the league. The possible repercussions for the Clippers could drastically change the landscape of the franchise as other NBA teams rush to reassess their operations and brace for increased oversight. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Lakers find themselves in an ideal spot to capitalize and potentially reap the greatest reward from what may turn out to be a pivotal off-season moment. The timeline of the investigation may align favorably for the Lakers. Should the NBA's inquiry carry on into the season, Leonard's worth might continue to decline amid rising doubt about his future. His stature faces ongoing damage, and the risk of legal complications grows. The Lakers may bide their time for the perfect opportunity to act, aiming to maximize returns with minimal exposure to risk. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has assured that the league will thoroughly investigate these claims, and the engagement of Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz indicates a serious approach. The fact that the NBA has turned to the same law firm that dealt with the Donald Sterling situation suggests significant consequences are imminent. What do you think could be the fallout from this situation? The Obama 3.8 has refuted any allegations of misconduct, claims to be unaware of these issues, insists it's demonstrably untrue. I'm waiting for evidence. Honestly, however, Steve Ballmer stands as the wealthiest owner, not only in the NBA, but across all sports, correct? He's the hero who rescued the Clippers from the infamous racist Donald Sterling. The possible consequences being weighed are truly astonishing. Given past cases and the serious nature of these accusations, the Clippers might encounter fines surpassing $10 million, the loss of several first-round draft picks, and perhaps even the cancellation of Leonard's contract. Some legal analysts indicate that if the proof is as damaging as it seems, we might witness unparalleled repercussions that would render the Timberwolves situation trivial by comparison. However, what elevates this scenario is, from the Lakers' angle, there's an intriguing dialogue about the potential ramifications that might compel Leonard to stick with the Clippers as a form of disciplinary action, resulting in what some are referring to as a coercive union. Essentially, there are a couple of points to consider here at the outset. First off, if we delve into relationship metaphors, this situation flips the script. It resembles a commitment that shouldn't exist, akin to a vow made despite knowing they are unsuitable as partners. Essentially, it has bound the Clippers to Leonard. It's essentially a coerced marriage, like a shotgun wedding, and Adam Silver is the one holding the gun. The irony of this looming consequence is striking. Should the NBA compel Leonard to stick with the Clippers as they endure severe sanctions and limitations, it might generate an even more toxic environment, ultimately favoring the Lakers when Leonard is finally up for grabs. Leonard's bond with the franchise would suffer permanent harm, increasing the chances of him leaving even further. Numerous NBA experts have pointed out that this probe has revealed fundamental weaknesses in how the league manages its salary cap. The complexity of the purported scheme hints that other franchises may have similar practices that remain undetected. This situation might prompt an extensive review of player sponsorship agreements and the business ties of team owners across the league. For the Lakers, this heightened examination may actually play to their advantage. Their decision to steer clear of dubious agreements in 2019 now appears insightful rather than foolish. While other franchises hurry to secure their own adherence, the Lakers can concentrate on preparing for Leonard's possible openness. The financial consequences for Leonard are becoming increasingly apparent. His existing contract might be nullified, and he could be subject to legal trouble for his involvement in what federal prosecutors are labeling a fraudulent enterprise. With bankruptcy aspirations and Joe Sandberg's admission of guilt to wire fraud charges, Leonard may be facing significant legal risks. This sets the stage for a unique scenario in which a star athlete could be seeking both monetary stability and a chance to mend his public image. The Lakers emerge as a potential solution, providing an opportunity to begin anew with a respected franchise that has abstained from dubious practices. This could be precisely what Leonard needs to revitalize his career and restore his reputation. The mental ramifications of this possible transition are significant. Should these accusations hold weight, Leonard's bond with the Clippers could suffer permanent harm. Competing for an organization whose proprietor purportedly exploited him as a mere tool in a deceitful plot would result in an untenable work atmosphere. The Lakers might provide a way out from that. A harmful environment. The wider competitive ramifications are immense. Should the Lakers manage to secure Leonard's services, it would instantly alter the dynamics of power within the Western Conference. Franchises such as Denver, Phoenix, and Golden State would need to counter with bold strategies, possibly igniting the most intense competitive surge the NBA has experienced in years. Kawhi Leonard is a talented athlete when he's on the court, which, unfortunately, is less than 50% of the time. However, as mentioned, the Clippers must face consequences here. If evidence surfaces of any wrongdoings, it's essential to prevent this from setting a precedent for other teams down the line. The enforcement ramifications of this situation will establish significant benchmarks for the NBA's future. Should the league permit the Clippers to evade serious penalties, it might incentivize other franchises to pursue similar tactics. Conversely, the Lakers' methodical and principled stance could gain validation in a manner that transforms operational practices throughout the league. Additionally, the scheduling of the NBA's 2026 All-Star Game at the Clippers' new state-of-the-art venue introduces further complications. If the investigation culminates in harsh repercussions for the Clippers, it may lead to an uncomfortable scenario where the league's premier mid-season event takes place under the shadow of sanctions against the hosting team. From the standpoint of the Lakers, the timeline of the investigation opens up several advantageous possibilities. Should Leonard's contract be nullified right away, they would have the opportunity to chase him this season. If the proceedings take longer, they can keep an eye on developments while preserving their roster flexibility. If Leonard ends up staying with the Clippers amid a backdrop of uncertainty and internal issues, it increases the likelihood of his future availability. The Lakers have been quite astute in their salary cap strategy lately, balancing flexibility with the creation of a competitive team. This strategy has set them up ideally for this precise opportunity, enabling the acquisition of a standout player while safeguarding their future and maintaining their integrity. The historical comparisons enhance the intrigue of the narrative. The NBA has encountered salary cap violations previously, yet none as intricate and intertwined with criminal elements. The Timberwolves' Joe Smith incident revolved around a straightforward clandestine deal. In contrast, this aspiration scheme encompasses corporate deceit, insolvency issues, and federal indictments. Should Leonard's deal be nullified and he enters free agency, the Lakers would gain notable benefits in their pursuit. Firstly, his potential market would be restricted because of his ongoing legal issues. Secondly, his inclination to stay in Los Angeles would align well with their interests. Thirdly, the Lakers' solid reputation and principled actions in 2019 would position them as a desirable option for a player wanting to improve his image. Even with the surrounding controversies, the on-court synergy continues to be appealing. Leonard's dual-threat prowess would significantly boost the Lakers' chances for a title. His knack for defending top-tier wings while generating his own offense during critical moments tackles two major gaps in their roster. Alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, he could create a legendary big three that fans will talk about for years. The financial aspects might also work in the Lakers' favor. Given the turmoil surrounding his recent scandal, Leonard's market appeal has taken a hit, leading him to potentially accept a reduced salary for the stability and reputation enhancement that joining a storied franchise like the Lakers would offer. The Lakers management, under the guidance of Rob Pelinka, has displayed remarkable patience in their approach. Instead of rushing into hasty decisions or wavering on their core values, they've strategically placed themselves to take advantage of chances as they come. The situation surrounding Leonard might just confirm the wisdom of their strategy. As this unique storyline develops, the Lakers are in an ideal stance, patient, principled, and ready. Should Leonard open up this season, next, or at a later date, they've set themselves up as the most logical choice for a player seeking precisely what they can provide. A new beginning with a top-tier organization that prioritizes integrity. The NBA community is observing closely as this inquiry unfolds, yet Lakers supporters have ample cause for hope. Often, choosing the right path leads to rewards down the line. If the Lakers successfully acquire Kawhi Leonard due to their commitment to honesty while competitors falter, it would mark one of the most gratifying conclusions to a recent NBA controversy. The scene is prepared, the investigation persists, and the Lakers stand by, aware that their steadfast values could lead to a thrilling resolution. We appreciate your viewership. If you like this video, tap on one of the boxes displayed on your screen for more related content.